Interim government of India. So this interim government, it can mean as it is a meantime government or a temporary government. So let's see. The interim government of India was formed on 2nd September 1946. The Constituent Assembly had 389 members. It was drawn from the newly elected Constituent Assembly of India. It had the task of assisting the transition of India and Pakistan from British rule to independence. It remained until 15th August 1947. Actually, it started from 2nd September 1946 and it remained until 15th August 1947 when India became independent. The Constituent Assembly became a sovereign body and performed the role of legislature for the new states. It was responsible for framing the constitution and making ordinary laws as well. So these are about interim government. Interim government was formed in 2nd September 1946. The Constituent Assembly had how many members? 389 members. It was drawn from the newly elected Constituent Assembly of India. It had the task. What is the task of interim government? It is assisting the transition of India and Pakistan from British rule to independence. In short meaning, interim government had a task of aiming the transition or the way of India and Pakistan from British rule to independence. Okay. Next, Viceroy's Executive Council. The Viceroy's Executive Council transformed into Council of Ministers. So this Council of Ministers served as an executive branch of the interim government. The Vice President of Council, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, was bestowed with the power of Prime Minister. So who is the Prime Minister of interim government? The answer is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. At that time he was the Vice President of the Council. So he has been bestowed with the power of Prime Minister. Other prominent ministers of Council are: number 1, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Prime Minister; 2, Sri Vallabhbhai Patel, Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister; 3, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Law; 4, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, Education; 5, C.H. Bhabha, Commerce; 6, Nawab Gadgil, Mines and Power; 7, Rajkumari Amrit Kaur, Health; 8, Rafi Ahmad Kidwai, Communication; 9, John Mattai, Railway and Transportation; 10, Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, Industry; 11, Jagajeevan Ram, Labour; 12, R.K. Shanmughan Chetty, Finance; 13, Sardar Baladev Singh, Defence; 14, D.P. Deshmukh, Food and Agriculture; 15, K.C. Nyogi, Relief and Rehabilitation; 16, Gopalaswamy Iyengar. Although British India remained under the sovereignty of British till August 1947, the interim government had proceeded to establish diplomatic relations with other countries, including the United States. Independent India accepted the Constitution on 26 November 1949 and came into effect on 26 January 1950. Based on the provision of the Constitution, the first general election were elected. So let's know about the first general election of 1951 to 1952. So it is after independence. Although we have discussed that independent India accepted the Constitution on 26 November 1949, that in the sense after independence, and came into effect on 26 January 1950. That's what known as Republic Day. So let's see first general election of 1951 to 52. India became a sovereign democratic republic after the Constitution was adopted on 26 January 1950. General election to the first Lok Sabha were held in India from October 1951 to February 1952 on the basis of universal adult franchise. With this, India emerged as the world's largest democracy. The provision of universal adult franchise was an act of faith on the part of the framers of the Constitution in the democratic process. Who framed the Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The holding of general election was a bold implementation of that faith in man and democracy. The first general election was the most gigantic political experiment in the history of democracy. The following facts indicate that it was the world's largest free election. So let's see. Number 1. Number of seats in Lok Sabha for which election were held is 489. 2. Number of electorate 176 millions. 3. Number of persons who actually voted, that is 105.5 millions. 4. Number of polling booths, that is 2,24,000. 5. Percentage of votes polled, 45%. 6. Number of political parties in the fray, nearly 70. 7. Number of candidates who contested, 1,800. So here let's see the results and party position in first general election. 1. International Congress secures 45% of votes and 364 seats. 2. Communist Party of India that secures 3.29% votes and 16 seats. 3. Bharatiya Janasangh secures 3.06% and 3 seats. 4. Akhila Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha secures 0.95% votes and 4 seats. 5. Scheduled Caste Federation 2.38% votes and 2 seats. Number 6. Scheduled Caste Federation 2.38% of vote and 2 seats. Number 6. Independence 16% of votes and 37 seats. Number 7. Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party 6% of votes and 9 seats. From the results shown above, the following conclusion can be drawn as: Number 1. The Congress emerged as the most popular political party in the country. It had managed to bag 74.5% of seats in Lok Sabha. Number 2. The percentage of voting was 45%. The percentage of voting of Indian National Congress was 45%. So it proved that the masses in India were politically conscious and understood the value of votes, though they were poor and illiterate. Number 3. There was no relationship between the percentage of votes secured by a party and the number of seats won by it. Number 4. The communists were popular in Hyderabad, Travancore, Kochi, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Number 5. Voting in rural areas was 60% and 40% in town. Number 6. The entire election was conducted in a peaceful manner, which was a notable and encouraging feature. Number 7. The scheduled caste leader and the chairman of drafting committee of Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, was defeated from Bombay constituency by a little known Kajrolkar. So here you have the doubt that what is Little Kajrolkar? Narayan Sardoba Kajrolkar. He was an Indian independence activist, Gandhian and social worker, best known as the man who defeated Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in a general election. So this Narayan Sardoba Kajrolkar, or you can call as Kajrolkar, was a Marathi by birth. So he served as a personal assistant to Ambedkar before contesting against him in the first Lok Sabha election from the Mumbai North Central constituency in 1952. Later what happened? This Kajrolkar defeated Dr. B.R. Ambedkar by over 15,000 votes. This Kajrolkar was also elected from the same constituency, Bombay constituency, for a second time in 1962 election. As I told you that this Narayan Sardoba Kajrolkar, he was Marathi by birth, so who was born into the Mahar community, was a member of First Backward Class Commission of 1953 and representing the scheduled caste communities. He was also a member of the Dalit Varga Sangha, an organization of the people of backward classes, and served as the secretary of the community when they decided to celebrate the birthday of Jagjeevan Ram on 5th April 1953. The government of India awarded him the third highest civilian honor of Padma Bhushan in 1970. So here in point 7, the scheduled caste leader, the Narayan Sadoba Kajrolkar, and the chairman of drafting committee, this Narayan Sadoba Kajrolkar defeated whom? This Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. From where? From Bombay constituency. This is what known as Little Non Kajrolkar. So let's know about first Lok Sabha. The first Lok Sabha had 491 seats. Elections were held for 489 seats and 2 Anglo-Indian members were nominated. The Speaker of first Lok Sabha was Sri G.V. Mavalankar. This is one of the important question. Who is the Speaker of first Lok Sabha? He was Sri G.V. Mavalankar. Next, the first Lok Sabha had met 14 sessions in 667 days and 3,784 hours, the highest recorded count of sittings. So it lasted its full term from 17th April 1952 to 4th April 1957.